And we are live. Congratulations. Hello, everyone. So we are live, and here we are. We are Google Development Group in Minsk, and we are going to have the online meetup right now. So I hope we will have a lot of people joined and enjoyed everything. Let me share the really short presentation and say a couple of words in the very beginning. So first of all, who we are? We are Google Development Group here in Minsk, and we are doing different kind of conferences and meetups and any kind of knowledge sharing related to web technologies, to mobile development, to cloud, anything Google related. So it's pretty huge amount of different kind of stuff. So if you're going to be a speaker here, so just contact us in any channels as you want, and we can discuss it. And today we are going to have a web meetup, and we will have two amazing speakers. One of them is Dhananjay Kumar, GDA MVP, and a lot of other different titles. He is the founder of NG India conferences, and he will talk about dependency injection. And the second speaker is Nikita Poltoratsky from our Minsk company called Acquion. He is also GDE, received it really recently, so I really appreciate his work for the community. And he will talk about really nice, interesting things related to web portals. So just to remind everyone that we are online, and we can have potential issues with connections, with the microphones, with anything. So just in case if something goes wrong, so don't panic, everything will be fine. Tell us that you have something. We will have the YouTube channel with questions. You see right now in the right side of your YouTube video stream, there should be a chat. I will be checking it. And you can ask any questions there. Especially, I will really wait for questions related to the topics, to the talk, to speakers. And if you don't see something, just try to reload page and wait, everything should be fine. And anyway, in ultimate case, the full recording of this video will be available in YouTube channel right after we complete. So I think we are really good to go. I'm really hoping that we'll have amazing hour and a half or something spent with two amazing Google developer experts. I'm really looking forward to your questions, and I think I'm going mute and give a stage to Dhananjay. So welcome our first speaker, and stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Just let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Dizzy,
Okay.
we can see your screen.
All right then. And let me start. So good evening, everyone. Good evening, good morning from whatever part of the world you are joining in. Thank you so much to start with GDG Minsk community to give me opportunity to present what I know, what I have learned about dependency injection and services in Angular. Uh, mm, the whole purpose of next 45 minutes is to make sure that when you go out after those 45 minutes, you really understand when to use services, how to use services. Of course, you know when to use services, but how to use services, and various piece and parcels of dependency injection in Angular. My name is Dhananjay Kumar. Uh, so the agenda of today is that we'll talk about all these things, that what are the various providing options, what is singleton service, tree-shakable service, what are the various providers options such as use class, use existing, use factory. And then last but not least, we would see that how we can work with services in lazy loaded modules, and what new feature got introduced in Angular 9, which really helps us to work with services in lazy loaded models. So that's the agenda for today. So to start with, dependency injection is very popular pattern, and every application should have it. I have taken these 2 points from Angular official documentation. It says that dependencies are services or objects that a class needs to perform its function. And if you look at the Angular, everything is a class, whether it's a directive or whether it's a component or even a service. So when you need another class or object inside a component or inside a directive or inside a service, instead of creating object of that of yourself, you would be asking Angular to create object of that and give it to you. So that's the whole concept of dependency injection. If you have done even a smaller bit of Angular programming, you may remember that you do not create object of service yourself. You follow a certain syntax, and then Angular makes sure that you get reference of that. And we already know that the whole purpose of this lecture today is to understand that whether Angular gives us new object, whether Angular gives us existing object. When we follow a certain syntax, Angular is going to create new object, or Angular is going to reuse the existing object and all that. So this is the definition of dependency injection. You can learn more about it. One thing which I really like about dependency injection from the creator of dependency injection, Martin Fowler, and he's known as father of design patterns. And he says that saying an application is special because it supports dependency injection is like saying a car is special because it supports wheel. And keeping that in mind, I guess that by design, Angular supports dependency injection, and it has its own DI framework. If you're coming from .NET background or Java background, to work with DI, you need to install external libraries. However, in Angular, you do not have to do anything. By design, Angular supports dependency injection and the DI framework. All right. Before we move ahead, there are two keywords which I would like to bring to your attention. They are traceable. What is traceable? So traceable has nothing to do with Angular. It's a generic computer engineering word. And it exactly means that in your application, whatever is not being used. So let us say you have created a JavaScript application. In that, there are 10 functions. Out of 10 functions, if 2 functions are not used inside the application, then those functions would not become the part of the final output bundle. That's what traceable is. So traceable refers to a compiler option that removes code from the final bundle if that the app does not reference that code. So this is the one keyword you should keep in mind, and we are going to use this keyword a lot. And this significantly reduces the size of your bundles. Second keyword is again a design pattern. Singleton services. Singleton services means only one instance of that service would be created. So that is called Singleton services, and this is the second keyword we would be using a lot in today's webinar. All right. Now, to work with a service, there are 4 steps in Angular. You have to create a service, you have to provide the service, you got to inject a service, and then you can use the service. And we would follow all these 4 steps as we move forward. All right. Now, when I say the second step, that provide the service, what does it mean? Provide a service means you can provide a service either using providers array of a module or of a component, or you can use using the providers array or using the providing property of the injectable decorator. So these are the 2 options: providers array and the providing property of injectable, and we are going to explore these 2 in detail. Now, there are 4 options for providing. They are root, any, module, and platform. In that, root, any, and platform became part of Angular in version 9, and root was there in version 6. And we would come to that, we would see that in detail. In the same way, you have 4 providers: use class, use existing, use factory, and use services, use value, and we are going to learn about them as well. So we have talked a lot. After this, we do not have any slide. We are going to learn everything through code. And again, just keep 2 things in mind: traceable and the other is Singleton service. So brace yourself. We'll follow step by step everything. and I hope we'll learn a lot. So what I have done here, I have created an Angular application. That Angular application has so far, it has one service called log service, and then it has two components, child component and child two component, and then we are using app child one and app child two right here. Okay. Right now, when you run this application, the application should look like this: child one works, child two works. So to start with, let us first go ahead and create the service. Here I have already created a service using nggs and service name. This is a Angular CLI command which helps you to generate a service. So I already ran this command and we have this service created. Now by default, if you look at this line number 4, what Angular does when you create a service using the CLI command, it sets this providing value to root for the service. Now providing equal to root means that service is supposed to be a singleton service, and that service is supposed to be a tree stackable service. You already know meaning of tree stackable means if this service, even if we have created this service, but if we are not using this service in our application, Angular is not going to keep it as the part of the final output bundle. Hence, the size of the application would be lesser. That is one characteristics if you are creating service with providing equal to root. And second is singleton, supposedly, but we would come to that later. All right. So here we have this service. Let us go ahead and modify this service with some code. So what I'm going to do in this, so here I have this service and I'm putting some code, and let me walk you through the code. I have created a static variable count in line number 9, and then in the constructor, I'm just increasing that value by 1, and then I'm printing that log service.count. So what actually I'm doing in this, that you know that the constructor gets called of a class each time an object gets created of that class. So if Angular is creating 5 objects of log service, this constructor would be called 5 times. All right, and this console.log should print us some value 5 times. If this Angular is creating only one object, then this constructor would be called only once, and we would have only one console.log. And just for that purpose, to demonstrate you that how many objects would get created, I have put this code. All right, so in the constructor, that it has very simple function, say hello, and it is returning hello name. Now to use it, what we got to do, let's go to our child component. So we have 2 child components. In the child component, just to use that, what I'll do here, I'm creating a property message in line number 10 is a string, and then here we are injecting it, and then we are using it in the right here, and this is child 1, so let's call it child 1. All right, and this is the way you actually use a service. That is your step number 3. If you go to our slide right here, in our slide we talked about various steps, and you see that create a service, we created a service, then provide a service, that providing equal to root, so we provided a service, and then inject the service, and you inject a service like this. That is the syntax. So when you follow this syntax, what actually you are telling Angular that, hey, whenever you create object of child component, can you get me object of log service? Roughly you can think like that, but we would come back to this story again. I repeat, when you put this code, it means you are instructing Angular that, hey, whenever you create object of child 1 component, can you get me one reference of log service? Now, questions whether Angular will create new object or Angular will use existing object, from where Angular will read this information, etc. We'll come back to that. So create new object or existing object of log service and all. So we'd come back, we will be back to that. So, but this is the syntax you follow to inject the service. All right, and then now in the HTML, let's go and just child1.component.html, and we'll just display that. In the same way, what I'm going to do, I'll take the same code and put it in child2 component as well. So in the child2.component.ts, right here, we are again putting this code and then putting the log service. All right, let's pass it here child2, and then take it here from child1 component, and in the child2 component.html, we are just passing that. All right, we are just passing that. So here we are passing that message. So you see that we have child1 component message. It's just we are using that. Now let's go and run this application, and you see that we are getting hello child1, we are getting hello child2. So we are getting that output. We are those child1 component and child2 component is able to read the data from the service. Nothing fancy, I'm sure most of you already know it. But one thing, let's go here and press F12. And here in F12, you can see that right here, it shows that object one means the constructor of log service being called only once. If you look at here, and we discussed that that whenever there is a constructor, this constructor would be called as many times Angular creates object of log service. Since it is we have only one object, one printed, it means we can assume that Angular has created only one object, and that object is being used in the both component, child1 and child2 components. So that is so here actually then we can say that by using provide in equal to root, it is creating a singleton service, means the same object is being used, and it is pre-shakable as well. However, it is always pre-shakable if it is set to the root, but it is not always singleton. And that would depend on the configuration. So for that, let's go to this child1 component, and in the component also you can provide a service, and here let me provide this log service. Now when we provide this at the in the component label, now what is happening, we are providing the service once at the using provide in root here, and once in the child1 component also we are providing in using the log service. Now we are providing the service twice, and now if you look at the behavior, you see that you are getting the output as expected. However, Angular is creating two objects of your service. It means that it will be it will create the number of objects as many times you provide it. And of course, whether Angular is going to use the in this scenario, Angular will use object created due to these providers, or Angular will use create object created due to this provider, or it depend on other options which we are not going to cover today. But you can assume that if you have provided it here, means for this component and for all its child component, object created using this provider would be used. So here we saw that even if it says that it's a singleton service, actually it's not a singleton service. If you configure it, and here you saw that two objects got created. So we have
Probably we have some minor technical issues. DZ, are you still with us? Guys, I think we have some issues with YouTube translation, so just give it a second and we'll try to fix it. It's something on a Zoom level, maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to reload the YouTube stream and it's still stuck a bit. So give us a second, please. Dear colleagues,
Hello, everyone. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. So nice to hear once again. Okay.
I'm sorry, there's some problem happening in this area due to electricity and all that. So that I just got disconnected. Can I just again share my screen again quickly?
Yes, please share your screen. We'll check that stream is fine. Just give me a second, please. You've been stopped in a moment when you injected the service in a component level.
Yes, and I was explaining this object 1 and object 2.
Yes, and we've seen the console log output. So just give us a second that to make sure the stream is back online, okay? Because I can see you screen sharing in Zoom, but I don't see that stream in YouTube is back.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, let's go on.
Should I start now? All right. So sorry everyone. There was some problem with internet. So here you saw that what I was telling you, that even if for the provide in is set to root, it says that it is going to be a singleton service and tree-shakeable service. Of course, it would be always tree-shakeable, but it would not be always singleton. And you just saw that in demo. Once we provided the same service at the component label, what Angular does, it creates another object for that, and this object would be available for this component and all its child component. So this is one thing you just learned, and here I'll just summarize that. So we learned about provide in root, and we learned about how to provide at the component level. All right, now let's go back to our application here and get rid of these providers from the component. And then what I'm going to do in the log service, I'm getting rid of this provide in equal to root. All right, so I deleted that provide in equal to root, and then what I can now, when I run this application, so when I'm running this application, it tells that, hey, there's no provider for log service. Why it is happening? Because Angular actually performs, how Angular performs this task, you are using this log service, let's say here in the child 2. So Angular has to find out this information, how to create object, use existing object, and all that. And for that, Angular will go and try to find provider for this log service. Since now we have not provided it anywhere in our application, Angular complains about that. So to do that, one is that you can do provide in equal to root. Another option is you can provide it at the module level. So here in the application module, we have this provider service. We can say log service. Now, when we provide a service at application module level, this service is available across the application. And now if we go back, you see that our application is back and there's only one object being used because we are providing only once. Now you may have a question that, hey, DJ, can you tell me that when you did providing equal to root, and now when you use providers and in the main module, we see that it is creating only one object, output is same. Then what is the difference between these two options? The difference between providing equal to root or providing it in the main module is that it is that when you provide in at the root, that service is a tree shakeable service, which means that again, if you are not using that service in application, Angular will not put it as a part of your output bundle. However, if you have set it in the providers equal to log service here, which means Angular is not going to tree shake this service. Does not matter whether you use it or don't use it, Angular is going to keep that service as a part of the final bundle. So that's the only difference between whether you pass this log service in the main module providers array or you use here providing equal to root. Both are exactly same with one difference, that if you do providing equal to root, that is tree shakeable. If you pass here providers, that is not tree shakeable. So I hope that is clear what is that tree shakeable and how many objects it is creating and everything. All right, so now let us say that we have a requirement that we have a new version of this log service available to us, and that new version of log service is, let's say, log updated service.ts, and that is nothing but just a new version of your service. And what you want, your management wants you to use the newer version of log service, not the existing version which you have, which you are already using. So for that, let's go and first create this log updated service. Is it?
Yeah, you're back. You're back online.
I'm back, and screen is shared.
It's in progress.
All right. Okay.
Can you stop sharing and share it again, because I see just, oh yeah, I see just a really small Visual Studio Code window.
Actually, it is flickering. Oh God. All right.
Yeah, don't worry.
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
It should come any moment.
Yeah, there is always some delay here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can try to stop it and share it once again.
Okay. You can hear my voice, but you cannot see my screen. So everyone, the time it is taking to come the screen, we just talked about providing equal to root. We talked about how, oh God.
It's okay. We'll deal with it.
Even I can't see my own screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's completely black.
Whoa.
Wow.
So maybe you have the couple of screens share open to the full screen. So can I just click stop screen sharing in Zoom?
Yeah, it's very new for me. First time it is happening. Like I can speak, but I can't see my screen. My both screens are complete black.
Oh.
My primary screen, my secondary screen. I'm not sure.
It started to share. I see black screen as well, and I see your cursor.
Yeah, what you see exactly I can see. There's nothing coming there.
Okay.
So see, I'm moving the cursor.
Yes.
And I can't see any control, anything. That is something very interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Delete. What is this?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I will have to restart system. What is this?
Dizzy, maybe we can just try to continue with just a voice and continue talking about these things. So I remember you had the description of other options for provided in. So maybe we can proceed with that. And
without a screen, or can we do one thing? I just get disconnect and let Nikita have done his speaking, and then I'll come back again.
It will be kind of interruption of the whole speech, I guess.
Okay,
but
you're right. I don't know what is this. Just give me a last try to this. It has never happened in my life.
Okay, let's try with Nikita, and you will try to solve everything, and we will proceed with that, okay? So, and I guess the Q&A, I've written down some questions, so Q&A will have after everything is completed, okay?
Or if you give me just 2 minutes, okay, you can start with Nikita, and then if time permits, I'll cover this.
Yes, let's try.
I'm getting offline to restart it.
Yes, you'll be able to reboot. So, Nikita, it's your time. I guess you have the presentation and you're ready, okay?
Oh, yep, I'm ready. Yep, and I'm here, but Zoom says that I can start share screen while the other participants sharing.
Okay,
could you please stop
sharing? Dizzy, could you please stop sharing the screen if you can?
I'm just restarting.
Okay, let's just wait a second. I guess the screen sharing is will stop. Yeah, you know, we live in a real life, in the real world, so every time we have some issues with the connections or with stuff, so it makes it even more interesting, I guess. Nikita, you can basically start from talking about yourself a little bit, if you don't mind, and we will solve the issue with the screen sharing in a second.
Well, frankly speaking, I can, but I would personally prefer to have my presentation here. So can't we just like substitute one screen sharing with another one?
I'm trying, man.
Okay.
Yeah, Zoom also doesn't let me to share my screen, and I'm just trying to find an option to do it remotely. Nikita, could you please turn on your camera?
Turn on my camera. Sure,
Yeah.
here's my camera.
Yeah, so nice to see you. How are you, man?
Hi, I'm great. So guys, you've just finally broken our broadcast.
Yes. Everyone will be able to hear how we're talking about. Can you try once again to share the screen? No?
No, I can share it. Just because I did a screen sharing and you Zoom doesn't allow me to share my screen. Well, so I can start speaking about myself without any presentation. I don't need it from like a personal presentation, but it's pretty weird. It's really pretty weird. Well, still nothing.
You can start just from talking about yourself and the first slides about the history you had.
Okay. So let's go with it. So my name is Nikita. I'm working at companies called Echo, a solution architect, and I'm a Google developer expert for Angular and web technologies. Also, I'm kind of a blogger, and I want to share a link to my blog for all of you to force you to follow me, but I can't do that without my slides. So just type in your browser on URL bar how to make .software and you'll find my blog there. Oh, pardon me. As you see it, I can share my
you
screen.
Can right now. Here we go.
Okay. And just let me know, do you see it?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so cool. Okay, let's start it again. Let's start from scratch. So, hello everyone, my name is Nikita, and I'm here to introduce to you a new, very cool feature that is called Portals, that is intended to help us to create a better web, a better navigation across web, a better navigations across applications in the internet and so on. But before we start, as always, I just need to introduce myself. As I told you already, I'm working at companies called Active. I'm a Google developer expert for Angular and web technologies. And here is my blog. So just go to how to make a software and find my articles. Hopefully you'll like some of them. Also, right now I'm creating an Angular CDK crash course. It's a video course about Angular component development kit. So if you want to learn how to build more robust Angular applications faster, just don't hesitate. Go to howtoMake.software and you'll find that video course there. So hopefully you like it. Yeah, frankly speaking, I like it by myself. And of course, my Twitter. So if you have any questions related to the Angular specifically or to the whole web, don't hesitate, just DM me and I'll try to help you. And of course, follow me on Twitter. It's a very important part. So what are we going to talk about? So today, I'm going to introduce you a very, very brief history of the web. Then we will try to understand that navigation is still the problem of modern front-end applications. Then I'll introduce you portals as a possible solution to the navigation across the pages in the web. Then we will dive into portals and view a number of cool demos, and you'll understand why portals are amazing. You will learn how to use them properly, and how to create really cool user experiences using portals. And finally, I'll tell you how portals can help you to build better single-page applications. So I believe you like it. So let's start with a brief history of the web. Okay. So here is a timeline, as you can see, yeah. And in 1990, Tim Berners-Lee created the first version of the World Wide Web standard. Then in 1991, he created the first version of HTML. Then PHP was created, then JavaScript was created, and CSS was created. And using all those technologies, users started to build multi-page applications. Okay, so frankly speaking, it was a surprise for me that CSS appeared after the JavaScript, you know. Okay, and then in 2002, the first single-page application was created. It wasn't a single-page application as we think about them now, because that days JavaScript was at early stages. People didn't use it that way as we use it today. People don't have any cool frameworks like React or Angular or whatever. It was just a concept of the single-page application. And then in 2010, the first version of AngularJS appeared. In 2013, the first version of React. And here people are building single-page applications. I bet most of you are building single-page applications using React, Angular, or maybe Vue or whatever. So as you can see here, as I told you, yeah, before people started, first of all, people started to build multi-page applications. Then on Sunday, people started to build single-page application. And the question is, what do we have now? Okay, so what do we have now? Nowadays, multi-page applications didn't disappear. People are still building multi-page applications and single-page applications. On the screen, you see some advantages and disadvantages of both approaches. Yep, I will not read them all here. I just want to emphasize the last here. Okay, so the last point in both lists is navigation. So multi-page applications provide the really easy way to perform navigation between pages. You're just using links, pasting as a URL in that link, URL from the other page, just click on that link, go into that link, and everything else is done by the browser or by the server. But multi-page navigations have really awful navigation UX. Okay, I mean black screens between pages. I'll show you in a bit more detail a little bit later. And what about single page applications? Single page applications can provide us with a really amazing navigation UX, since we can create any animations using JavaScript. But single page applications are always too complex. Okay, even using frameworks, you need to learn a lot of things to create a navigation, in, for instance, in Angular. Also, did you ever try to dive into the source code of your framework router library? You'll find thousands of lines of code, and it'll be really hard to understand what's going on there. Okay, in a bit, let's discuss in a bit more detail. Just here's an example of a multi-page application. For instance, here's a GitHub, and it's my GitHub page, and I just want to click and go to pull requests. And first of all, I'm seeing a white screen. Okay, I believe all of you know that behavior when you just need to go somewhere, but you're clicking on some link, but your browser just first of all need to download all the resources again. Then you need to show you a white screen, and only then rebuild all the page from scratch. It's really awful user experience. Okay. And what about single page applications? For instance, here is a demo of Angular documentation website. Angular documentation website is built using single page application approach using Angular. And when I'm clicking on any links, I'm performing a navigation without reloading whole the page. And pardon me. And I have no white screens between pages. I just see a beautiful animation and nothing more. Just beautiful animation and a new page here. It's amazing UX. But to build this animation, I just need to download the whole Angular. Okay, it's thousands lines of code. I don't want to have it just to perform beautiful navigations. So I think after exploring both issues for multi-page applications and for single-page applications, we can conclude that navigation still is a problem. Okay, hopefully you agree with me. But what if I can say that nowadays that problem is almost solved using portals? Portals are the new feature introduced by the Chrome team a few years ago. It was introduced at Google I/O 2018 or 19. I don't actually remember, sorry. So portals allow you to perform really beautiful animations from between different pages using just plain HTML and JavaScript. So let's take a look at one cool demo, my favorite demo with portals. So what do I have here? Here I have a kind of a blog page, okay? Just those gray rectangles, just imagine it's a alarm with some text. And somewhere on the page, I have, for instance, some assets, and here I have a video player, okay? And I can click on that video player, and it will open as a dialog, and then I can click on the backdrop of that video player, and it will return back. Okay, nothing interesting, nothing surprising. But what if I tell you that here is a bit of magic? Just take a look at the URL bar of my browser. Okay, so here I have localhost and port 3000 and some kind of additional information like query params, but it's a localhost and port 3000. And when I'm clicking on the player, I'm performing an actual navigation to the localhost 3001. And when I'm clicking back on the backdrop, I'm performing a back navigation to the localhost 3000. Okay, do you see that? Do you get it? I think it's amazing, you know, like we can create kinds or elements that looks like dialogues, but we're performing a real navigation with something that looks like dialogues. Okay. Hopefully you're intrigued, and now I'll explain to you how all the magic works right now. Okay. So as I told you, here I have a blog page, and inside is a text and some kind of a player. Just let me show you the code of this demo. Here I have rendered a portal. Okay, as I told you, portals will help us to perform better navigation. So it is a portal, okay? And I'm listening for a click on that portal element and performing a navigation inside the portal. And then I can return back. Okay, I'll explain how this works a little bit later. But what you need to know right now is that portals, they are really like an iframe. Okay, so portal is an iframe, but with the ability to navigate into it. So when I'm rendering the page inside the portal, I'm rendering the whole page in a new page, like using iframes. Also, I can interact with it. So here, I can, for instance, press a play button. It will, so I can interact with it, okay? And also, I can activate the portal and navigate into it. Cool. So just for better understanding, we need to understand that portals are like iframes, but we use one small difference. Also, portals are not actually available everywhere right now. For now, it's a draft. It will be a part of the HTML specification soon, hopefully. But right now, it's just draft. Okay. If you are interested in it, you can find it. So just go to the link, www.icg.github.io/portals. You'll find all the information about portals, the specification, all the documentation, and so on. Well, so hopefully you're intrigued and you want to learn how to use portals and how to create amazing user experiences using portals. But first of all, we gotta enable them. As I told you before, portals are not a part of the specification yet, just a draft. So they're not available everywhere. But they're available in the Chrome canary. Of course, everything new available in the Chrome canary. So you can just download the Chrome canary, go to Chrome flags, find enable portals, click enable button, and portals will be enabled in your Chrome canary. To check that, you can just open a console and type HTML portal element. And if portals are enabled, you will see that. So you will see the same as you see under my slide. If portals are not available, you'll see undefined. Cool. Also, as I told you, portals are enabled only in Chrome Canary, but you already can create progressive enhancements of your applications. So you can just check if HTML portal element is available in your client's browser. And in that case, create some portals or just patch your page and make it available and make it very cool. Well, hopefully now now you know how to enable portals, and now it's time to build something simple with portals, to build a simple navigation using portals. So, simple navigation with portals. Let me show you a demo of the simplest navigation using portals possible. So, all my demos are here. And simple navigation with portals is here. So here I have a page with a cat and a dog at the left bottom corner. And when I'm clicking on the dog, I'm performing a navigation to the dog page. Again, when I'm on the cat page, my URL, the URL bar is /simple-navigation. And when I'm clicking on the dog page, it becomes dog.html. So dog is not just a plain image. If you see my DevTools, dog is a portal, okay? And I can click on the portal and navigate into it. So that way. Let's take a look on how to make it. how to make it work. So first of all, you want to create a portal element using HTML or using JavaScript, as I'm doing here. Then you ought to assign a source for the portal. It ought to be a link to the HTML page to allow portal to load it and render it. Then you are inserting the portal in the document. Okay, now at that stage, you have a portal on the screen and some content rendered inside the portal. But we want to perform navigations into that portal. So what am I doing here? I'm listening for a click event. And when the user clicks on the portal, I'm calling portal.activate function. And this portal.activate function is the thing that differs portals and iframes. So, frankly speaking, it's almost it's the almost difference between portals and iframes, since both of them are rendering content inside, but you can activate portals, and that portal.activate function performs real navigation into that portal. Okay, cool. Also here I have a little bit of style, just to emphasize that why does it scale down here? Okay, it will help us to perform cool animations with portals. Okay, let's learn how to make portals animations. So as you can see here, here's a demo with simple navigation, and as I showed you, it's we didn't have any animations here. So just let me switch to another demo. So another demo is here, and when I hear clicking on the dog just beautifully scales up and becomes a full screen. And when I'm going back to the cat, I can do it again. So here I have just a beautiful transition between two states, okay? And okay, again, I just want to notice that it's a single, it's a multi-page application. And I'm really performing a navigation between two different HTML pages without any reloads or without any widescreens. And I'm adding a very beautiful transition with that. Okay, so let's take a look on how we can make it. Well, first of all, of course, we gotta find a portal element or create it or whatever. So we just need a portal element here. Okay, then we are listening for a click event. Okay, nothing interesting, nothing new. Then when the user clicks on the portal, we are not activating it. Okay, we are just assigning a new class to the portal. Okay, and that class performs a transformation. So it just scales it up. Since portals was scaled down, it scales it up. And when that transition ends, we are activating the portal. Okay, so it is that. You can think about it like about a following list of points. Just find a portal, listen for a click. When clicked, create an animation. When animation ends, you can just activate a portal. Nothing complicated. But when you're when you're creating CSS animations, you always think about accessibility. So it's not very popular topic, but it's very important topic. And when we are talking about accessibility of CSS animations, we are talking about reducing motion of animations on the screen. So how does it work? So here I have an image, the same screen, the same page, cat, dog. I'm clicking navigation, the same beautiful transition, and dog grows. Okay, but some people prefer to reduce motions on the screen. It might be important for them because of their diseases or whatever, but that configuration exists in almost any operation system, I believe in all operation systems. So for instance, on my Mac, I can go to my settings, to the accessibility, find a display, and click reduce motion. And now my Mac performs almost no animations, no any motion for native animations. And now my page performs no animation between these two states. Okay, so do that. Without reduce motion, my page creates a transition. Again, transition. With reduce motion, my page don't have a transition. How to make it? How to force your web page to reduce motion when it's requested by the client's operational system? Let me show you. So it's frankly speaking, it's really easy, but it's very important. So when you're creating any CSS animations, you want to use media query that is called prefers reduce motion, reduce. And the easiest way is just to create a very, very, very fast transition. Why we can't remove transition at all? Since we are doing animations and it's here, yeah. So why we can't remove transition at all? Because we need to listen for transition and events to perform portal activation. So if we reduce transitions at all for any client, then he will not be able to interact with portals. Okay. So at that stage, we know all pretty big amount of information about portals. We know how to create them, we know how to use them, we know how to animate them, we know how to make them accessible. Now it's time to think about customization of the page inside a portal. What am I talking about? Let me return to this blog demo here. So as you remember, here's a blog and a player, and I'm clicking on the player, and it appears like a model dialog on the page. So just remember the picture. But when I'm reloading that page, okay, just boom, and it's another look and feel. It looks completely another way. It's not a dialog. When I'm going back and clicking, again, boom, another look. How does it work? Just let me show you how does it work. With my cool demo. Let me return. Okay, customize content in the portal. So here I have again a page with a cat and a portal with a dog. And dog know that it's in a portal. So here's the text. I'm in a portal and a very happy emoji. And when I'm clicking on the portal, that text just disappeared. So the page can know was it loaded from the portal or not. Okay. So how to make that behavior? So for instance, for example, with the dog, we can just add a hidden element and render it and and display none by default. But when our page is rendered in the portal, okay, in our window.portal host property is available, so we can check whether it exists. It refers to the portal page. Okay, so if that portal host property exists, we can make our hidden inlines. So just draw it, and then at that dog page, we are listening for portal active event. This event will be fired when the portal.activate function will be called from the cat page. Okay, and when at that case, in that time, dog page, we will navigate into the dog page. The dog page will just hide the hidden using hidden.style, the display now. Okay, so again, when portal host property is available, that means that page is rendered inside the portal. And when portal activate event is fired, that means that page was activated. Cool. Now it's time to check some interesting ideas on how to use portals. Okay, I'm talking right now about loop navigation. It's a very important topic. So let's start with demo. I'll introduce you to my favorite demo with a blog again. About loop. So what's going on here? Again, it's a page, player, clicking, navigation, but what do we have here interesting? At the background, our previous page is still at the background. So it's here when I'm clicking, it stays there, but it's deemed using a backdrop, but nothing more. In fact, it's not there. In fact, we will already perform the navigation to another page, and that back page was adopted and rendered inside a new page. So just let me show you the code here again. So here is a portal. I'm clicking to the portal and just look to the DevTools, to the code, and in that case, boom, everything changed. So it's a new page rendered. But old page that was previously rendered at localhost 3000 is adopted as a portal and inserted in the page. Okay, so let me show you how does it work, how we can make that experience. Boom. So again, in a page inside a portal, we are listening for a portal activate event. And when the portal is activated, we can get the parent page using event.adoptPredecessor function. So it adopts the previously parent page and returns the portal with that page inside. Okay, so this code is really using that adoptPredecessor function. So when we are clicking on that player, it navigates to a new page, and that new page calls event.adoptPredecessor, and it returns the previous page inside the portal. And then it inserts it as a background to the backdrop. And that's why we can just click on it and activate it. Okay? Hopefully you'll already understand what I'm talking about. So here, I just have a code to demonstrate how we can create it. Exactly the same behavior as it was introduced before. Like we are listening for a click event on the portal, assigning a class, waiting for a transition end, and performing portal activation. Cool. Oh, now we know that portals are really amazing. Hopefully I already convinced you to try them. But frankly speaking, I don't know any cool feature in the programming that don't have any drawbacks, okay? And that's why portals also have some kind of drawbacks. So let's talk about them. Frankly speaking, the most important portal's drawback is performance. That doesn't mean that portals are slow, but that means that when we are using portals, we are loading full pages, like when you're using iframes. So if you will, I don't know, load 100 different portals, it will be almost the same as you will open 100 tabs in your client's browser. So it will really harm the performance of your application. And that's why overusing portals will lead to really bad performance, okay? So we need to find a way on how to deal with it. First of all, I'm talking about an intersection observer. I hope most of you already know what is it, but let me show you one more demo on how to lazily load portals on demand. Okay, so here I have it's again a cat, but it's outstretched cat. Okay, and at the bottom of the page, I have a portal, but nothing is rendered inside the portal, as you can see, okay? Even a source is not set, it's data-source, okay? And when I'm scrolling the page, I'm scrolling, and boom, the content of the portal appeared. And here I have a doc page with asset.image and so on. So how does it work? How can we make that behavior? It looks like a virtual scroll or something like that. So here I have an intersection observer. It's a pretty popular browser API that allows you to understand that allows you to observe elements on the screen and understand which of them are appeared inside the viewport and which of them are just leave the viewport and so on. So for instance, here, I'm creating an intersection observer and listening and observing a portal with a dog, okay? And then when entry is intersecting properties true, that means that dog portal just appeared in the viewport, okay? And here, I can create a portal. I can assign a source URL to the portal. And then when I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I've already seen the dog, and this portal appears to leave the viewport, and in that case, entry is leaving properties true. That means that our portal, our element, our entry is leaving the viewport. And in that case, I can unload the portal and remove it from the memory and just clear all the resources requested by the portal. So it works approximately that way. Okay, so using intersection observers is a cool idea, but what if, for instance, you really need to keep tons of portals on the page? For instance, you're creating like an online shop and you have thousands of elements on the screen and you want to perform actually very fast navigation to each element using portals, okay? You can't render portals on demand here using intersection observer because all your elements already on the screen and you have thousands of them. In that case, we can use another cool idea like placing data into portal. So for instance, you can just create a pre-rendered portal with the placeholders, and when you're clicking on some kind of a good in your online shop, you're just passing an ID or some kind of a metadata and can preload all the required information. While user is seeing not a white screen, but a beautiful loaders or whatever. Okay, let's forget about that and let's take a look on some of my demos with passing data. Okay, so what do I have here? Again, cat page, dog page. But now cat page has an input, okay? And I can type something here in input like portals are amazing. Okay, portals are amazing. And when I'm clicking on the dog page, I'm going to the dog page and passing data inside and rendering all the data inside the dog page, okay? It's a new page, new URL, and data is here, and no input, no, nothing. Well, just to prove that it's not a fake, let's type something more interesting, like I like dogs. When I'm clicking on the dog, again, I like dogs. So how does it work? Let me show you. So here, at the cat page, when I'm clicking on the portal, I'm performing portal activation and can pass some kind of a configuration inside. And here, I can configure a data property where I can put whatever data I need, okay? And then in dog.html, when portal is activated, I'm receiving a portal active event. And here, I can access the data using event.data property, okay? Easy as that, yeah. Cool, guys. Now you know almost everything about portals. You know how to use them, how to make cool animations, how to make them accessible, how to pass data inside, how to customize pages when they're rendered inside portals. And now it's time to show you a few more interesting demos, okay? First of all is a Yahoo News demo. As I told you before, big companies have already started to play with portals, okay? And for instance, Yahoo Japan News created a very cool demo. So they created and published a demo using portals. So at the left, you can see how the Yahoo News Japan looked before portals, okay? It's a lot of white pages between pages. So it's not a good user experience, right? And on the right is an application built using portals, where you can see a lot of cool transitions, cool preloaders of different cards, and what's the most important, no white pages and an amazing UX, okay? Wow, what's next? Yep, received demo. So this demo is a kind of a official demo of the portals. You can find it almost everywhere where portals mentioned. So at the left, you can see which URL browser is right now. And at the right, you can see like how the user scrolls and interacts with the application. And what the most important here is how cool is it, okay? Like how beautiful is it, how it feels, how it looks like. In fact, the user interacts with 4 different applications during this video, okay? 4 different pages, completely different pages. But it feels like it interacts with exactly one amazingly crafted application, okay? And I believe that demo really showed the power of portals and the UX you can create using them. Wow. That's it about my cool demos. And almost the last topic, portals for single-page applications. Okay, so since we've just spoken about portals for multi-page applications, and I think now you have no idea how they can help you with your Angular or React applications or Vue or whatever. Frankly speaking, they will not help you to work inside the applications, okay? They will really help you to work with systems of applications. Since nowadays, there are a lot of different systems that contain some different applications, like with 5 or 10 applications, completely different single-page applications. For instance, Google Drive, okay? So just let me show you. Here is Google Drive application. Here is my Google Drive. I have a number of different my photos here, yeah, and I can click on the document, and what's going on here? I see the white screen, and then my application is loaded. Okay, again, I'm clicking on the page, I see the white screen, and then my application is loaded. And portals can help us to improve the UX of the Google Drive. Just let me copy one script, and I will show you how they can help here. So it's going to be here, and it's here, and boom. Okay, so here I have a portal now. Okay, yeah, as I think it looks pretty beautiful from my point of view. And now I can hover and click on it, and it just performs a beautiful transition to my document. I don't need to open another tab with the white screens. I just see the beautiful transition and my page is here. I think it's an amazing behavior. Hopefully you agree with me. So yeah, Google Drive demo is done. And we are almost done for today. So let's revise what we learned. So first of all, navigation still is a problem for modern front-end applications, but portals are trying to solve all the issues with the navigation. Portals are easy to navigate using plain CSS. We already learned how to do that. We learned how to make those CSS animations accessible, how to customize page when it's in window, how to deal with portal performance and so on, and also how to use portals with single-page applications. Again, here's my Twitter. Just don't hesitate. If you have any questions, just DM me. Here's my blog, how to make the software. Follow me, you'll like it. And what's the most important, I believe, all the demos are available at my GitHub, so you can just clone it, download Chrome Canary, and you'll be able to try it and feel the power of portals. And that's it for today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. So it's time for questions, I bet.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nikita. It was just amazing presentation with just a tons of beautiful demos. I really enjoyed it, looking to your cats and dogs and stuff. So yeah, it's time for questions, and let's voice some of them. First of all, there is a question about the browser compatibility. So could you please voice once again about what's going on here?
Oh, yeah, but as already told, right now, portals are available only in Chrome Canary, okay? Only in Chrome Canary. Since it's not in the official specification, okay? It's just a draft of specification, but you already can try it, okay?
Okay. So am I correct that there is no actual production usages of that till yet? Because Chrome Canary is something for developers, right?
Yeah, sure. But as I told you before, yeah, companies like Yahoo are already trying to use them. Okay, so if big companies like Yahoo see something interesting in portals, I bet portals will be in production soon. Okay, since it's a really powerful technology.
Yeah, I think so, actually. So talking about that, speaking about that, do you know any news or details about the actual dates or when it could be a standard, part of standard?
Frankly speaking, right now, I don't have any date. I can say that I've checked the repository of the draft of the specification just yesterday, as I remember, and the last commit was 5 years ago, no, 5 days ago, not 5 years, 5 days ago, and I bet maybe in 1 or 2 years it will be released, and in 1 year more it will be supported by major browsers. And as always, if you want to use it in IE6 especially, just forget about it.
Of course. So we have enough time to learn this.
Yeah, we have enough time to learn. We have enough time to try them. We have enough time to invent new UX patterns on how to navigate across the applications.
Okay, fine. What if, for example, I'm a super modern company and I really would like to try it and to make it like a part of my production application, but still I want to have some compatibility. So could you advise something on that?
Yep, sure. As already told you, told the presentation, you can create progressive enhancements. So you can just check whether portals are enabled in the client's browser using just if HTML portal element in window, then you can create progressive enhancements and use portals. If not, you can just use plain HTML links or whatever. Frankly speaking, most of the UX will depends on your UX and UI designers. So it's better to ask them how to fall back to the plain behavior without portals. But yep, you can try to do that using just progressive enhancement patterns.
Okay, we have one more question in YouTube stream, so maybe we'll voice another one as well. So I will just read it, right? So does this portal load and execute their initial JavaScript? So if it is, if when it gets the sources, does it mean that it will require a lot of processor resource to load production-like applications? So just
for sure, when you are loading a portal, it loads a full page. Okay, it loads the same page. So just imagine as you're using iframe. Okay, when you're loading an iframe, you're loading the full page, and it executes all this JavaScript, performs all the requests to all the assets, performs the request to the backend, can load your main thread or whatever. So yeah, and the portals do the same. They load all the resources, they execute all the JavaScript, exactly the same behavior as for iframes.
Okay.
Pardon me. And that's why I had a section about portals performance, and that's why you shouldn't overuse portals, and that's why you should load them only on demand when they're really required using intersection observer to not stop your initial loading. And that's why you need to pass data in portals to not create many portals, just to have a shell portal, for instance. Yep, pass data inside and then load required data in portal. That was a point.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. And maybe the last one. I was listening to the presentation, and I was thinking like the browser developers could get much more potentially if they think about the preloading feature or something like that. So do you know anything about that? So how to make it fast and maybe use some less resources, caching or something? So
what do you mean preloading feature? I didn't get the question. Could you
yeah,
please elaborate?
I mean, like when you load the first page, which has a portal, so
Okay.
it will preload the whole portal content or something just to make it faster. So is it?
Oh, okay. So you just don't need to insert portals directly into the HTML. You can just wait when the page is loaded. JavaScript provides you an appropriate event, and when the page is loaded, you can load your portal. So you can create a portal. Just call the document.create element portal and insert it in the document. Or even you can don't create them on the Bootstrap at all and just create them only when they're required. Just a lazy loading through the intersection observer.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Once again, thanks a lot for the presentation. It was really amazing, and we are the perfect on time in exactly 45 minutes right now from the very beginning. So Nikita, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed the talk, and yeah, I hope we'll have much more some interesting content from your side.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for your questions. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, thanks, Nikita, once again, and let's do it another try. And Dizzy, let's try to continue your presentation. I guess you.
All right. So to start with, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Getting back. Yes, yes.
That providing root providers log service. Can you see that?
Yeah, in a notepad.
All right. So I'll just take not more than 15 minutes. Very first, I'm very sorry for what happened. I exactly don't know. All it gone blank screen, and that was first from me as well. But never mind. Once again, whoever is in the presentation, thank you so much. And Nikita, that was a really great presentation from you. I really enjoyed, and you gave me a reason to go and explore portals. So what we are going to do, we are going to cut little bit of demo from my presentation, and we would focus on something about providers, which became a part of providers in version 9 of Angular. So far, we talked about that when we set providing to root, it means Angular is going to create a tree stackable and singleton service. Even though it looks like even though by definition that's singleton, but if you again provide that at the component level, Angular is going to create new object for that. We have seen that in demo. That was a demo number 1. In demo 2, we removed providing equal to root, and then what we did, we passed that into the providers, and the only difference between root and passing that in root model provider is that providing equal to root is tree stackable. However, providers is not tree stackable. Then if you look at this code right now in our code, in the app module.ts, you see that we are passing this log service, and this log service is nothing but actually shortcut of this. So provide log service and use class log service. All right, so this is nothing. So when you have the value for provide and use class same, instead of passing it as an object, you can just pass single value. That is one thing I would like to bring to your attention. Now, what we are going to do, as we discussed that we have four types of providers: use class, use existing, use factory, and use value. We are skipping demos for others, but just to give you an overview, what exactly this line means. This line means that when you use this right here, that hey, give me log service. So this log service is actually the token name, not the class name, not the service name. And when you inject a service here, Angular goes and finds provider, in this case in the module. So for that log service token, Angular knows that, okay, for this log service, it has to use the object of this log service class. So once this is clear to you, now let us see that how we can bring all this together to work with lazy loaded service, lazy loaded modules. Like we have multiple modules and which are lazy loaded, and how we can provide service to them. But before that, let me ask you one question. Let us say in our application there is a main module, then there are two eagerly loaded modules, and let's say there are two lazy loaded modules. And this is the scenario: one main module, two eagerly loaded modules, and two lazy loaded modules. And we are using this log service, all right, in all these modules. Now we have not provided log service in anywhere in the component level or directive levels. Now question is, how many object of log service would get created? Whether Angular is going to create 2 to 4 and 5 objects, or it is going to create only one object, how Angular is going to create objects and all. And after this 10 minutes of demo, you would be able to answer this question on your fingertip. All right. And we are going to work with that log service itself. So before that, let us first go and add some. Before that, first let's go and add lazy loaded modules in our application. So here is our application right now. All right. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add one module. So this is the Angular CLI command to add a module, which will get added to main module in a lazy loaded manner. So this is the command here. I have executed it. And here Angular must have got created a customers module. And let's say that I need one more module. And right here, so I'm creating orders module. All right, and then let's run this application ng serve. And in meantime, what we are going to do in the app component right here, on the app component.html, let's put one button to load the customer module, one button to load orders module, then there's home, and in this router outlet, those modules would get loaded. And then let's go to app routing module. So here in the app routing module, what we'll do, you see that Angular has already added this lazy loaded configuration to lazy load customers modules and orders module for you. And this is the syntax, import syntax that got added in Angular 8. And that is, if you follow that syntax, Angular will lazy load this particular module. And we have not written that code. That code got written by that Angular CLI command. And here what I'm doing, I'm just adding one more default path, that if customers and orders is not meeting, then just go to this path. Once again, if you look at here, we are saying that base URL/customers, please load children from the customer module, and then customer module. This is the syntax you got to follow. Even if you are lazy loading a component, you got to follow this import statement, or you can use async and await as well. All right, so here we are for configured a lazy loaded modules in our application, and let's go and run this. So here our application is successfully compiled, and refresh it. All right, here is so this is in the live, and I hope I added everything inside. Live, the customers, and then orders and app route module. All right. And then we'll go to this here and say dir/ng serve. All right, so this will take some time to compile. And first we are lazy loading two modules, orders modules and customers module. And then we'll try to inject the service and see that how tree shaking and other works in the lazy loaded modules. So here application got compiled successfully, and here we have customers, orders, and home. All right, so I'm pressing F12. First, let's see that whether we are able to get this lazy loaded done or not. All right, you see that here many files got downloaded. Now, when you click on orders, you see order works here you are getting as output, and when you click on the orders, then this order.module.js is getting downloaded. When you click on the customers, then this customers.module.js getting downloaded, means we have configured lazy loaded successfully. All right, now we got to use this log service in lazy loaded module, and for that what I'm going to do very quickly, let's go to, let's say, customers, and then customer component.cs, and to use that, just say the way you use in any other component here, message string, and we'll say lazy loaded, and this is customer, so we'll pass customer here. And also we will, in the customer component, we'll use message. All right, and then take the same code and let's go to orders component.ts and put it here, and here we'll say lazy loaded orders, and here is the log service. All right, and then customer component HTML, the same message we want to put in the order as well. All right, so now we are using that service, log service, in lazy loaded modules. And if you are back here, you see that orders, hello lazy loaded orders you are getting, hello lazy loaded customers you are getting, and there's only one object being created. Means the message what I'm trying to convey you here is to work with like, even if a component is lazy loaded, you don't have to do anything extra. Just if you have injected a service into the module, into the root module level, that service would be available to even lazy loaded modules, and only one object would be shared across everywhere. So right now in the default scenario, doesn't matter how many modules are here, two eagerly loaded module, two lazy loaded modules. If you are providing log service, scenario one, if you are providing log service at the main module level or using the root, only one object would be shared. And here I'm assuming that you are not providing it again in any component of any of the modules. So this is your scenario number one, which you just saw, and we are getting the output. So again, you don't have to do anything extra. Now the challenge comes, let's take one scenario here. And the scenario is, what I'm going to do, and be with me to understand this demo, what I'm going to do in my application right here, let's say that I have a different API settings. So for that, I'm creating a API config.ts file. And in that, I'm saying that, okay, I have this interface API config, which has an endpoint and token. Now I need to provide different API config for different modules. That's our end objective. How we can do that? So for that, another thing which we'll do is right here, we'll say that API config.model.ts, and here we are creating a token to read that API config. So here we are saying that our token name is API config value, and it is returning us an injection token for API config. And we can use this API config using use value. Now we need, like we are using that log service in various modules. Our requirement is that for different modules, it should have different values for API config. But to use that, first we need to inject this API config value to the log service. So for that, let's go to log service.ts. And here to inject that, again, we'll go to the constructor and say inject. And we need to inject API config value. All right. And then we'll say private and give any name to that config. All right. So here we have injected that API config value, importing it. And now let's say that we have created one more function. That function from here does nothing but returns the config value from the API, from there, means it will return this particular object, endpoint and token. All right, now we have injected this. Now to use that, we have to pass that value, and we can pass that value in the application module level. So here right now in the app.module.ts, we can say that API config, and the value is, let's say, abc.com, and a token is this. And then what you need to do, you need to provide that. So to provide that, we'll use value. Here we'll say provide, and in the provide, the name would be API config value. All right, and then we'll say use value. Use value, and here you can pass the value which you just created on the top, config value. All right, so here we are creating the token API config value, and this is using this config value which we created here. And this API config value is injected to this log service, and this get value return the that configuration object. So we have now API and token at the application level, at the main module level, and wherever we want, we can use that. So for that, what we can do, we can let's say go to our API, go to our component here. For example, order component.ts, and let's say that here we are saying API value any, and then we can say right here that, hey, read me this .api value, log.get value. All right, and then you can display this in the HTML of orders.component.html like this. And same we can let's do that for customers. We are displaying that for customers as well, and we will do the same thing. We'll take API value any, and here we'll fetch that data. All right, so we are now fetching that API value for order and customers module, component of orders and component module which are easily loaded. Last but not least, let's just go for one child component and do that, such that we can see that how it is working for component which is part of the main module as well in the demo. And here the same code we are putting it for child component as well. And then we can go and modify child component template. We can modify child component template here as well. All right. So now at this point of time, we just created a API value and injected it and using it at 3 different places in 2 lazy loaded modules and 1 main module component. And if we run the application, you see that in the application right now, you go to orders, it is hello lazy loaded orders, but it has the same token, and even the component of main module has the same token. Now the customers, it is loading the customers, but it has the same token. So what is happening? Our objective is that we want different values for endpoint and token for customers, orders, and home. But at this point of time, we are not able to achieve that because we are passing that value into the main module label, which we are passing right here. And since we are passing it the main module label, the same object is being used, and hence the same value is being shared. And you can see that there's only one object created here, and that's why you cannot have separate value. But our objective is to get the separate value for different modules. And how you can do that? So to do that, what you need to do, of course, go to the separate modules here. Let's say that I'm in the order modules .ts, and here we'll create this API config for orders. All right, and then we can pass that in the providers array. So in the providers array, we can say, hey, use this API config and then use config value. All right, so we did setting for we did pass that value for the orders module. In the same way, let's go ahead and do that for, let's say, customers module. So in the customer module, it has its own token, and then we can, all right, and then we can again pass it for the customers module providers as well. All right, so here we are saying provide API config use value. So you see that we are passing different value now for the different modules. But if you look at the output, still it is not helping us. When you click on order, it is giving you same abc.com. When you click on customers, it is giving you same abc.com, and the same object is being used. So even if you are injecting the values for that API config value token in the module label, which are lazy loaded, you are not able to read different value for that. Now the solution, what is the solution of that? Solution of that is you can go here and say, okay, let me once again provide this log service to the to customer module, and in the same way, let me again provide this to log service to orders module. All right, you've done that. So you are providing separately log service. Now you have provided log service thrice, means in the app module label and in both lazy loaded module. And now when you go and run this application, right now you should, on running the application, you should see that you have one object and then abc.com is there. Now when you do the customers got loaded, you are getting this customers separate token for separate value for customers, and but one more object got created, and which is expected. And then when you click on orders, for orders you have different value, and the third object got created, which is expected. And this is the way you solve this problem, and this is the way you achieve different values for different lazy loaded module. But the only challenge with this approach is, since you are passing that in the providers of the module, this log service is not traceable. Now, even if application is not using it, Angular is going to keep it as a part of your final bundle. So how we can solve that? So to solve that, first we'll remove it from all the providers. We removed it from orders. Let's go and remove it from customers, as well as let us go and remove it from app module where we are using this provide. All right, so now we don't have any provider array. It means, of course, Angular is going to give us error. It's saying that no provider for log service. The solution is we can go to log service right here, and here we can say providing and root. So when we are passing root, it means it's a singleton object would be used, and this is a traceable now. However, we are back and run this again. You are getting the output, only one object getting created, but again, the same problem. You have the same value for lazy loaded modules as well. Now, how to solve that? So to solve that, you have already seen how to do that, which we did using by passing it to different to the modules providers. But in Angular 9, they have come up with a better solution such that your service is traceable and still you can achieve different values. and you got to use, instead of root, any here. Just use any here. You don't have to do anything. And right now you are here. One object got created. Orders, you have different value for orders. Other object got created. Customers, different value for customer. Other object got created. And this is pre-stackable. So this is the purpose of any, which got added to Angular 9. The third option here is platform, which we are not going to cover today. But what platform does, it allows you to share this service across multiple Angular applications in a single browser tab. Probably I can create another video and put it on my channel for that. So now you understand that what is the purpose of any. First, I try to show you the problem. First, I try to show you that what was the earlier way of solving that problem, and then how any is solving that. So this is what I have for today, and I hope it added. You now understand it. Last but not least, once again, that we had a demo on use class, but you can use use class for real-time scenario like global error handling, interceptors, or service hierarchy, etc. And then we already covered about root and any. Root is tree-stackable, any is not tree-stackable. Any is tree-stackable, and but if you use providers, those are not tree-stackable. And last but not least, if you go to this, now you know that if this is a scenario, and if you are using any, it means Angular is going to create one object for main module, and the same object will be used for the eagerly loaded module. So one object for these two, and two objects for two lazy loaded module, means it will create three objects altogether, and those objects would be three objects, and those will be tree-stackable. So that's it. Last 30 seconds of my, if you want to be in touch with me, my name is Dhananjay Kumar. I am a Microsoft MVP. I'm a Google developer expert. I'm also founder of NG India, which is one of the largest Angular conference in the world, and Geek 97. We provide training and all. So you can connect me for any training need, consulting, if you have any speaking opportunity, content creation. And my email address is right there, debugmode@outlook.com. And you can read my blog at debugmode.net. Once again, sorry for some technical problems which happen in between. And thank you everyone for joining. And thank you, GDG Minsk team, for giving me this opportunity. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dizzy. It was a good talk with a lot of tough issues and electric dropouts and stuff like that, but we did it. And thanks a lot. You're a really good speaker. You finally make it, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming here. And let's just spend about 5 minutes for a couple of questions before we wrap up. Okay?
Sure.
So first of all, thanks for providing information about the providing anything. It's a new one in Angular 9. That's cool. So just a small question. What is the default value when you use just injectable attribute? If you don't use provide any?
Root.
Root. Default is still root. Okay. Okay, cool. We had a question in YouTube channel. I will just read it. So how we can resolve the cyclic dependencies? Which is the best approach for that in this area?
Okay, so today we did not cover that topic. That topic is entirely different topic. But Angular has given you various options like iterate self, iterate optional, and using those keywords, we can control the cyclic dependency.
Okay, thank you. I think we can just find more details about these keywords. Okay, I have just a personal question about that. So you showed a demo about that add inject, and I'm wondering what is different between add inject and just a regular dependency injection.
Oh no! So when you use use value and so when you have to so when you create a service using a class using iterate injectable, then you don't have to inject it. You just pass into the constructor, and Angular would be able to understand that it has to inject it. But when we created that endpoint configuration, we did not create a class to represent that with injectable decorator. We created that as just an object, and to inject that, we created a token. So we had to manually tell that, hey, I'm injecting this token, and whenever this token is injected, can you read that value?
Okay, thank you so much. That makes a perfect sense. And probably the last question, which I'm interested, no, two. Give me a time for 2 questions. So first of all, we talk a lot about the tree shaking, and is it turned on by default in Angular 9, or we need to set up something for that?
Tree shaking?
Yeah.
So when you create a service using Angular CLI command, nggs and service name, by default, what would happen, that your service will have, if you can see my screen, providing equal to root set.
Yep.
It means it is a tree shakeable service. So if you don't do anything, just create a service using Angular CLI command, by default, that is tree shakeable.
Yeah. I mean, do you need to turn on something on global?
No, Angular will take care of that. Angular will take care of that.
Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. And the last one, I promise. So when you inject, when you use dependency injection on a component level, right? So is Angular taking care of the clearing of instances after the component was unloaded?
Good question. I suppose it should, because we are injecting it through the provider's array. It means we are not manually creating the object. Angular is creating object for us and passing it. It means it must be taking care of killing that object also once component and tree got killed.
Yeah, I'm asking because that there is a famous issue when you subscribe to observables and not unsubscribe. So I wonder if there's the similar issues with dependency injection instances. So
in the subscribe, we manually subscribe to that. So it's our responsibility to unsubscribe to that. And Angular tells you that if you don't want to go into subscribe and unsubscribe thing, use async pipe, and they internally take care of that. So in the same way, dependency injection is a default Angular thing. We are not creating object of ourselves. It means Angular must be taking care of disposing the object as well.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And I think we're done with the questions. We're done with this online meetup. This is thanks once again for the good presentation and a lot of live coding. It was tough and interesting. And thanks to all the audience who are here with us online supporting all that, or who will be watching later. Thanks, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. See you soon.
Bye, guys.